Yeah, I do. I mean, it's a matter of being encouraged by a lot of things, and you have experiences, supernatural experiences that set you apart when you see supernatural healings and so forth. Recently, I read a book, 90 Minutes in Heaven, and it was very encouraging. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. And
What's it called again?
90 Minutes in Heaven.
And who is it by?
It's, I believe, I forget his name.
But you can look it up.
Yeah,
right?
it's a bestseller. But and he spent 90 minutes in heaven. This was someone that was dead on the scene, major car accident, half of his leg missing, been dead for 90 minutes, and a pastor that was well miles back in there. After 90 minutes, the Lord went and told him to pray for him, and he went up on the scene, and the paramedics laughed at him and mocked him. And this is the God we serve now. And so he went into the car, put his hand on his shoulder, and prayed for him. And after a while, the whole time that he was in heaven, all he heard was the worship and the songs and how great, and went on and elaborated that every song was about his majesty, how powerful. There was nothing about the cross. And as this pastor was praying for him and laid on his shoulder, he started to sing the very song that he was singing. And neither one of them had heard this song before. And as he was singing it in the car, he came back alive. And so they share that experience 10 years later. They were writing a book, and it took them that long to open up about it. This is someone that spent 2 or 3 years just in physical therapy to be able to walk again. And he's still alive and still out there bringing people to the kingdom. And the great part about this is heaven real? And so we have a real experience that someone died and was resurrected. The same God that resurrected Jesus from the grave resurrected someone else, and we have a real account experience that he has confirmed today, and we could use that as encouragement. And they shared this story together just like this. And what opened up after 10 years is that he asked him, "You were holding my hand while you were praying with me." And he says, "No, I wasn't. I was actually praying on your shoulder." And so yeah, Jesus was in that car too, and he was holding his hand. And so we get to encourage each other with stories like that, experiences like yesterday, and where things are happening supernaturally, and it is real, it's alive, and it makes it so much more worth living.
Yeah, it makes, because, this is just life is a stepping stone. This place, we've got, 80 to 90 years, if we're lucky, 90? Not lucky. I'm pretty sure it's an ordained appointment for us to go to be with the Lord. But to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. Mm-hmm. There is no, I'm sorry for those of you who believe you're going to come back as a bug or a dog or something like that. There is no reincarnation in the biblical. I've looked. It's not in here. And I believe what the whole Bible says. I don't add to it. I don't take away from it. It says once you've absent from the body, you're going to be present with the Lord. Mm-hmm. And so, or you're going to await judgment. You're going to wait that other place. I'm going to wait into that other place until you until the judgment comes. So what I wanted to do was really talk to you about heaven a little bit more. I was talking to my husband a while back, and he goes, he likes to ride motorcycles, and I just want to ride motorcycles. I want to ride motorcycles. And I said to him, I had to laugh, and I go, "You're going to be able to ride motorcycles in heaven. There's motorcycles in heaven." He goes, "Okay." And I said, well, in Daniel 9:2, I believe it's in chapter 9, verse 2, it describes God in heaven sitting on a chair with wheels and flames coming out the back. Now, if that doesn't sound like a motorcycle or some kind of a Hot Wheel chariot or something, he's going to be able to go fast, and there's actually flames coming out the back. That's and cool. So God is moving. God's moving fast. I always picture God up in heaven, sitting on a chair on a cloud. Yeah. Well, he's not stationary. I believe, I don't know, maybe he is in a way. I don't think he's quite stationary. If he's in a chair with wheels and flames, do you think he's moving? Doesn't the Bible say his eyes move to and fro on the earth, seeking whom he can bless? Yeah. Is that going to be you? Yeah. So how do you get blessed? How do you get blessed? You've got to be watching, first of all, for the blessings of God. Mm-hmm. How can you receive something that's like, okay, Ryan, look over that direction. How can he get it if he doesn't see it? How can he take these glasses if he doesn't see it, right? So we have to be looking for the blessings of God. And I'll tell you what, you begin looking, and you're going to start seeing more than you ever saw before.
He commands us.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah. To be looking, to be diligent, to be
seeking.
On the watchtower, yeah, absolutely.
All
the time.
Yeah, and so my husband's excited. Well, not excited in a way that is bad, but he's excited that, wow, we are going to be able to ride motorcycles in heaven, or whatever, a close call of it or something. And like I said, this place is like a big job interview. What are we doing now? We're going to continue to do in the hereafter. We have got a long way to go, Ryan, because not only are we through this life, we've got the millennium.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've got 1,000 years to reign and rule with Christ on this planet. Then eternity starts.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, oh my goodness, it's going to be tiring in eternity. There's no sleeping there. There's no night, so there's no taking a nap. If you like a nap now, take all you can, because you're not going to be getting a nap in heaven. And so what I thought, oh my gosh, what's that mean? And he showed me. He says there is no time in heaven.
Mm. It's outside of time dimension.
It's outside of time. It's like the 12th dimension, or whatever you want to call it. There's a whole dimension out there that we can't comprehend. Mm-hmm. Time was made for man.
Yeah.
Time was made for man, so I don't have to do everything at once. It's not possible in this human body to do everything at once. But when we're in our, you know what? Didn't Jesus walk through walls?
Oh yeah, 50 days he did it. Yeah.
Yeah, he walked through walls because he was in that other dimension that we're going to become. And do you know that Jesus looked like Jesus too, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He had a little glorified body, didn't he?
Yep. Something to look forward to.
Yeah, and so we're going to be seeing him. My husband was saying today, we were having some lunch this morning, or breakfast this morning, and he says, it's going to be really cool to look into the dude's eyes. He just wants to look straight into the eyes of Jesus.
Yeah.
And he's really looking forward to that day. He just knows it's just going to blow him away. It's like that song, am I going to be praising God, or am I going to be bowing, or am I going to be crying, or am I going to be doing all these different things when I see him for the first time? What are we going to be doing when we see him for the first time? I don't know. I'm only going to know when I get there what's going to happen. But we've got to recognize and realize that heaven is a real place. Mm-hmm. It's not just some imaginary story. It's a real place. And if we had our mind on things above, what are things above? Mm-hmm. Can you name off any things above, Ryan?
Heavenly places. Let's see. Dwell in his righteousness. I do know a scripture that says every single time that we think upon him, he records it. All of our thoughts upon him, and to dwell upon that. So I think that was alluding to be more heavenly minded and to draw upon that for his strength. There's so many positive things. And so many times the enemy's trying to strip us down from that and use negativity. So I think you can dwell on the strengths of our experiences, the Word, encouragement, and all the gifts that he's given us to do.